don a new uniform next season, as he has a very clear picture of where he'd like to end up. Now, according to Shams Charania, the Heat, the Spurs, the Rockets are KD's preferred destinations, and that he has no desire to play for the Timberwolves. Mad Dog, should Phoenix help KD out and send him where he wants to go in a trade?
Why? Did he win a championship in Phoenix that I missed? Has he ever won a playoff game for the Suns? No. They were swept by Minnesota, and this year they didn't even get into the postseason. They owe KD absolutely nothing. Warriors, you can make an argument. He helped them win 2 championships. What did KD do for the Phoenix franchise? I don't understand. What did he do? He has left no legacy there to speak of. They've had, Kevin Johnson left a bigger legacy, Tom Chambers, Paul Westphal, Dennis Johnson, Booker. They've left bigger legacies in Phoenix than KD does. So the idea now, you want to tell me contractually KD won't go somewhere, so you're in a tricky spot? You can argue that. That's not the question, though. The question is, does Phoenix owe this is not Ray Bork leaving the Bruins, let's get him to Colorado so he can win a Stanley Cup championship. He's done nothing in Phoenix in the big picture. They haven't won. They didn't even make the playoffs this year. And last year in the first round, he was completely outclassed by the Timberwolves. They got routed in 4 straight games. So now we got to make sure that KD gets what he wants? Nonsense. I wouldn't do that if I was the Sun management. I'm going to make the best deal for my team. And if KD ends up in New Orleans, deal with it. There you go.
Jeez, doggy. What's the original question, Molly? Is O the word that we're using?
Oh, yeah. Should they send him to his, essentially, I didn't even ask the question because I think Mad Dog just went. But should they help him out and send him to his preferred destination? Should Phoenix pick those 3 spots of the
that he just wants to go to?
Yeah,
Heat,
the Spurs,
San Antonio, or Miami. I personally say meet in the middle because I don't understand where all the heat came from on your end, Mad Dog. Like, I understand that Phoenix needs to put themselves in the best position moving forward. But if the deal can be done within those preferences from KD, why not? Like, I don't understand why you have to intentionally strike an adversarial relationship. Now, if it absolutely cannot be done, Phoenix obviously is looking at their future moving forward, and KD is clearly trying to get out of Dodge. But it's not as if, yes, he did not bring a championship to that organization, but he's been available. You look at the numbers when he's been on the floor for this team. The record is, I believe it's 33-29 when he played. It's dismal when he did not play. So it's not as if he was in the organization and was problematic. If you can do a deal where both sides are like, all right, cool, we'll compromise, we'll meet in the middle, I would think that is the best course of action because I don't think you need to have an unnecessarily adversarial relationship with one of our game's greats.
Stephen A?
Doggy, you have to take into consideration, Doggy, the circumstances, not just the individual. As an individual, Kevin Durant is a Hall of Famer. The brother is a 2-time champion and a 2-time NBA Finals MVP and one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen. In his mid-30s, he's fresh off of averaging nearly 27 a game on 52% shooting and nearly 40% from three-point range and nearly 90% from the free throw line. When we look at Phoenix, the 20 games that he missed or so, they were like 3-17.
Yep.
But they were like 33. They were like 33-28 or something like that with him on the basketball court. So they desperately need him when he's there. The bottom line is that you can't blame him for what has transpired with the Phoenix Suns. What kind of thing did you build around him? Now, I got on Matt Ishbia, the owner, but I think that he's steering things in the right direction. But to Monty Williams is the coach there that took you to the finals. You take over ownership, you get rid of him. You hire Frank Vogel, who won a championship just a couple of years earlier with the Los Angeles Lakers, and you get rid of him after 1 season. You bring in Mike Budenholzer, who won a championship after Frank Vogel won his championship in the bubble. He won a championship the next year. You sign him to a 5-year deal, you get rid of him after 1 year. And so there are certain things that one could easily argue is beyond Kevin Durant's control. Now, some people might say when you're a superstar of his caliber, you could have done more to make things right. Fair enough, I understand that. But let's not look at him like this is a brother that's a liability. We can't talk about Kevin Durant like that. You want to say he's not old, fine. But because they have Bradley Beal, who has a no-trade clause, and clearly Devin Booker is younger and he's the face of the franchise and you're not getting rid of him, in order to improve your roster, the only choice you have is to unload KD. Now, you unload KD for the best assets possible. The flip side to it is that if the best asset possible is the Heat, the Spurs, or the Rockets in terms of what they're offering, why wouldn't you do that?
That's a different argument.
For him as well.
I agree.
But what I'm saying is that of course it has to work for you too. But there's nothing wrong with looking out for him in the process because he's not some truculent individual who didn't give a damn about the franchise and go on the basketball court and failed to perform. He did, he did a lot. Okay, he was an all-world player. There's no question about that.
Steve,
it's just that they don't have a team.
Steve, here's the bottom line. Durant gets valued more than he's not a two-guard. He gets valued on a different level because of who he is. Was he successful? His 2-year tenure in Phoenix, would it be deemed a success?
No, not at all.
No. What? Y'all just sitting up here talking about ring culture and it being a team sport?
Well, no,
it wasn't
how about just making the playoffs and winning a couple of games?
I think I was the one that said that.
How about being competent in postseason play? And I'm not talking about the
but you're acting.
I'm not talking about him.
But I'm saying you're just acting like they should just throw him out with the bathwater and just say the hell with what you want. I'm saying, but if look at the teams that he wants to go to and see if they're offering you equitable compensation.
All right, I'll give you that.
I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that.
I'll give you that.
That's all I'm saying.
I'll give you that. But if it turns out that Miami, San Antonio, and Houston are offering less than the New Orleans Pelicans, he's going to the New Orleans Pelicans. They owe Durant absolutely zero. This idea that we're going to go placate Durant, why? What did he do for the Suns? If you walk down the street...
Time out. If New Orleans has the exact same package as Miami has, are you okay sending him to Miami?
Exact same.
Let's say the money lines
I'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
you're saying you'll look at...
I'm not going to spite him.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
No, you'll look at the preferred destinations. If those don't work, you need to make a business decision.
But the idea that we got to... Here's what bothers me. The idea that Durant, who left OKC when they were on the cusp of winning a championship, up 3-1 the year he left. He left OKC. He left the Warriors. He demanded to be traded from the Nets, and now he's out of Phoenix. I mean, really? Now we're going to have, these are the 3 spots I want to go? How about Durant say, you know what? Send me to a team that's best for you, and I'm going to go win for that team. How about he say that for once?
Well, no.
How about he say that?
I mean,
you guys are way too pro-player. You guys are you got to look at it from a team perspective. You got to look at it from a team. What did he do for the Phoenix Suns? Did they win? Did they make the playoffs? They do anything?
We agree with you, though. We agree with you. First, try the preferred destinations. If it doesn't work out, if all things aren't equal, it doesn't work out, then we look elsewhere and you make a business decision.
I don't think
just don't treat him like
doesn't help anybody.
Don't treat him like he was. All I'm saying is don't treat him like he was a cancer to the team, and he was the reason that they had problems. They had problems in spite of him. But if other cats came to do their job the way that he came to do his job, they would have been better. They didn't do that, and as a result, you got to move him on because that's the way you can get equitable compensation for him. You don't have a chance of improving your team without getting rid of Kevin Durant. But you don't have to throw him out with the bathwater and act like he was a cancer to the team. I'm saying he doesn't deserve that.
Steve, this is going to be his 5th team in his career.
So?
For an all-time great. How many times did Tim Duncan play? How many times did Tim Duncan play for?
Oklahoma City. Hold on. He was loved in Oklahoma City.
And he bailed.
He won 2 chips, and it would have. Hold on. He won 2 chips, and he went. Well, okay. You want to call it fair? Yeah, I got you.
He bailed.
But the man did go to a final. He went to a conference. He went to several conference finals. Went to a couple conference finals. Went to an NBA championship finals as well. But he didn't win a championship in Oklahoma City. He won back-to-back titles in Golden State.
Yep.
And he would have won a 3rd had he not tore his Achilles. And then he goes to Brooklyn without Kyrie and with James Harden injured. If he wore a size 13, if he wore a size 12 shoes instead of a tie 13, they'd have went to the finals and they'd have won it that year. So we can't ignore that and act like the brother ain't KD.
And we also can't ignore the fact that when he left, we also can't ignore the fact that when he went OKC, they were 3-1 up on Golden State. And what's the team he decides to go play for? Golden State. Let's not forget that either. He joined a team that he couldn't beat in a conference final with a 3-1 lead and an 8-point lead in Game 6 at home. Let's not forget that either.
Who brought that up more than me?
Right,
who brought that up more than me? But that still doesn't negate the fact that he's one of the greatest players in the world. Still,
remember Stephen A. called it the weakest move of all time, and then he apologized to his mom. Where were you?
I wasn't here.
We're past all that.
That was a time.
Oh my.